Hello everyone, this is Frank Demore with the Last Chronicles of Planet Earth. This is a documentary on Bible prophecy and current events. If you'd like to download the book for free, just go to my website, which is www.demoraministry.com. Once you're at the website, you'll see the front, the back cover of my book, and right below it is a link. It says download for July 11th, 2010. That's the newest edition of the book, and it's loaded with proof that the Bible's the prophecies that both from the Old Testament and New Testament are actually coming to pass in these last days. And you can get it for free just by going to my website. I'm going to be covering a prophecy here to begin with for October 20th of 2010 that has to do with civil unrest. In Matthew 24:7, Jesus, part of the warning there in that verse, he tells the disciples in the last days there would be nation against nation and kingdom against kingdom. And the kingdom against kingdom would be, for example, just in case many of you who don't know prophecy, it would be like one nation amongst itself fighting, like we did for the United States had the Civil War. That is obviously a prime example of civil unrest, civil war. And in the last days, Jesus said you're going to see a lot of this, because we know that that's the case, because in Mark chapter 13 verse 8, Jesus said all these things were going to happen as birth pangs, and we know that they're going to get a lot worse. Now in the news, after you watch the video, you're going to be able to scroll down and you're going to be able to see news that I posted from the Drudge Report, from the Zero Hedge Report, from a Time magazine, all talking about the what's going to happen in the near future, what they believe could happen in the near future to the United States as far as civil war is concerned. And what they do in these articles is they point to what's happening in the European Union, specifically today. They show us what's happening in France, because France is rioting. The riots are continuing because of the slashing of the budget that the French government is doing, because of the deficit, the French deficit. And it's not just in France, we're seeing it in the UK, we're seeing it in many different countries within the European Union. But when you scroll down, you'll see videos of the actual rioting that's going on in France. You'll see headlines that are coming out showing that it is a good possibility that what's taking place again in Europe may spread to the United States. Now I'm going to give you one article right here, and then some of these articles, when you click to them, they're pretty long, but they're very intense reading, and it tells you exactly what's happening in the United States, which is really important. Let me give you an example. When we're talking about civil war, now they're writing about what Jesus was warning about. And I quote, "What is the most likely cause today of the civil unrest? Immigration, gay marriage, abortion, the results of election day, the mosque at ground zero? Nope. Try the Federal Reserve. November 3rd is when the Federal Reserve's next policy committee meeting ends, and if you thought that that was just another boring money meeting, you would be wrong. It could be the most important meeting in the Fed's history. Maybe the U.S. Central Bank is expected to announce its next move to boast a faltering economic recovery. To say there has been considerable debate and anxiety among the Fed watchers about what the central bank should do would be an understatement. Chairman Ben Bernanke has indicated in recent speeches that the central bank plans to try to drive down already low interest rates by buying long-term bonds. A number of the people both inside the Fed and out believe that this is the wrong move. But one website seems to believe that Ben's plan might actually lead to armed conflict. Last week, the blog Zero Hedge wrote, paraphrasing the top economic forecaster David Rosenberg, that it believed that the Fed's plan is not only moronic, but it positions U.S. society one step closer to civil war, if not worse. Now, and then they point to the Drudge Report, they point to the Zero Hedge Report, they point to a Washington report, and the Prison Planet, obviously, their report too, combining everything that they're saying, showing you that America, what's happening in the European Union as far as their writing, could be what's going to happen in America. Now, just based on what Jesus showed us, and he told us nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom, and I believe with all my heart, and I hate to say this, but knowing what's happening with the economy and knowing the real facts and the figures about what's happening with the American economy, we're a lot worse off than they're telling you. And I can foresee that the same kind of rioting taking place when Americans who've been placed on, like for example, living on Social Security or unemployment, with the money running out of unemployment, people don't know what they're going to do, and it's going to cause chaos like you've never seen before. And this is the warning from Jesus Christ. Now when you take a look at the Paris, when you scroll down after you see my video here, you're going to see articles. For example, workers opposed to higher retirement are blocked across the airports in Paris and around the country on Wednesday as hooded youths smashed store windows amid clouds of tear gas outside the capital. Riot police in black body armored forced striking workers away from the blocked fuel depots in western France, restoring gasoline to areas where pumps were dry after weeks of protest over the government proposal raising the age to 60 to 62. Now, this is what they're doing in the France. They're raising the retirement age. I mean, obviously, they're running out of money. Now, below it, you're going to see another article that the UK today, they announced that in the near future, they're going to be laying off 500,000 public sector jobs. That's 500,000 people are going to lose their jobs inside the government in the UK. I mean, they're already losing jobs in the United Kingdom. But, you know, this news is not good news. And one of the things that they're doing again, like the rest of these countries are, raising the rates, the age limits. Now, America is in a process of doing the same thing. And they got their own problems, and they're going to make the slashes similar to what's taken place in Europe, in their countries. And if you think that people are not going to be upset when they lose their money and they don't have income, you got another thing coming. Now, this isn't good news, but the good news is that Jesus is the person who gives us the hope of the future, because he is going to come back for the righteous. And if you are one of those righteous people, you will be blessed, and the Lord will watch over you, and the Lord will eventually, he's going to take us out of this earth and bring us into heaven, and that is called the rapture of the church. And if you don't know what the rapture of the church is, please go back and read the last chapter of my book, which is, again, you can get it free. So with that, you scroll down today and you're going to see all kinds of articles of real facts and figures that I post, the charts, and I'm giving you the experts of what they're saying about the economy, and that they're saying that this economy is actually the figures, the real figures of what's happening in the American economy are those that essentially reduplicate the last depression. So America is on the verge of collapse. I'm going to take some time in this next video to read what they're saying here. You could believe it or not, and you can check the figures if you want, but we see hundreds of thousands of people losing their jobs almost every month. And it seems like every other month they have to readjust their figures. The government is going to readjust these figures because they just don't want the people to know really what's happening. But now with YouTube and with all these other connections, people are really finding the truth out, and it's hard to contain. Please scroll down and listen to the rest of this news and give heed to what the Lord says about the civil unrest that's coming.